Hello, let's go over how to set up a formula, apply it to your manufacturer file, and applying it to your inventory. First, we'll go into inventory control. You want to go into vendor maintenance. Pricing formulas are set up by vendor. So let's go in and we'll do Mercury. What you want to do is click over here, pricing formula. Right now it's Formula 1. Formula 1 is our default formula for just using list price. As you can see, all it says, I'm just going to keep the list exactly the way it is. I'm going to keep the cost. And the only thing I'm doing here is I'm increasing my minimum charge to 25 cents. But let's take a look at some of the formulas and some of the options you can do. This is a formula that's based on what the price of the pot particular is. For example, first thing you need to do is, what do you want to compare to? Compare to the cost or compare to the list? Secondly, do I want to round up? I round up to the penny, round up to the nickel, or I can round up to $1. These are your different categories. For example, I'm comparing to my cost, and I'm saying anytime the cost is 50 cents or less, I'm going to multiply the list times 1, and I'm going to multiply the cost times 3, and I am going to use whatever the larger of the two is. So, if the manufacturer's list was $1, it would have looked at that saying, okay, I'm multiplying that times 1, which is $1. I'm multiplying the cost. If the cost was 50 cents, it would say it's $1.50. So it's going to use $1.50 as a selling price. As you can see, as the cost gets more expensive, the markup gets less and less. So in this case, obviously, I'm always multiplying it times the list, and I'm just multiplying it times the cost. As the pot gets more expensive, my markup gets less and less. Now notice what we're doing here. Over here, any pot where my cost is, remember we're comparing it to cost, not the list. Any pot where it costs me more than $200, I am going to take multiply the list times 0.90, which means I'm taking 10% off the list, but I need to know I'm making 30% profit. Some dealers like to do this here because when customers call around on expensive pots, they usually call around and get the best price. So you're typically going to be quoting 10% less than your competition, although you know you're making 30%. 30% on an expensive pot is probably, worth it, where nobody really pays attention to a spark plug that they're paying 20 cents more, 30 cents more. So here you can really make yourself really more profitable by increasing the inexpensive pots quite a bit, and on the expensive pots, actually giving a discount or lowering it. So this is one formula here. And this one, like I said before, we're comparing the cost, and we're rounding up to the nearest nickel. Let's look at another one. This is one very similar, except this here, I'm strictly just playing with the list. I'm saying compare to my list. Any pot that's $2.50, now that's my list price now. It's I'm going to multiply the list times 1.25. So I'm adding 25% to the manufacturer's list for anything that's $2.50 or less. If it's between $2.51 and $5, I'm adding 20%. In this case, if it's between 15 and 20, I'm adding 15%, is 10%, 75%. So any pot that the list is more than 75%, I'm keeping it at the manufacturer price. So there again, I'm increasing my inexpensive pots 25 to 5%, and I'm keeping any pot more than $75, and it's comparing to my list. Here's another one. This is strictly just saying, okay, I want to add 15% to everything. So if you're using Formula 4, it's going to compare the list. It's going to add 15% to the manufacturer's list. And this is another 120. So there again, if you want to create a new formula, you just give it a number. And basically you hit what you want to compare to. You put your options in here, what you want to multiply. It's always good to put something in both here because obviously I may be marking up my list, but if the manufacturer made a mistake and didn't put the right list in, at least you know you're multiplying your cost and your list, and it's always going to use whatever is larger of the two. Now, once you pick the formula that you want, if I go back here, let's say I want to use this one here. That's formula 3. So when I exit this, it's automatically going to use this for formula 3. So now once I've set my formula, now formula needs to be set for each manufacturer. Every manufacturer you're going to do different. So this one here is only doing it for mercury. Now, once I've set it, I want to implement it. It's not automatically going to go in and calculate that. And you can change it, and you can put it back to the way it was. So let's say we want to implement that formula. I'm going to go into here, update price files. And I want to do it twice. I want to calculate my manufacturer file. That means it's going to go through my manufacturer file, and it's going to recalculate, and I'm using this vendor here, and it's going to go in. This is the formula it's going to use. So I'm actually going to be adding 25% to the list for any pot, the 25 to 5, depending on the pot. I'm going to hit the escape key. Yes, I want to use this formula. I could select another one. Nope. And now it's going to go through, and it's going to calculate all my mercury pots. And so now once this is done, any pot that you look up in your manufacturer file will have that change. If you don't like it, maybe you look at it and say, oh, maybe I went too much, maybe I want to mark it down, you can just go in, create another formula, and run it again. So you can do this as many times as you want until you get your list price or what you want to sell it for dialed into what you want. So you can just rerun it. Now, there's two things you need to do. You need to rerun your manufacturer file, and that's going to calculate every single pot that manufacturer sells. And then you also want to recalculate your in-stock prices. This is not updating my inventory. It's only updating my manufacturer, and that'll be the next step. This just takes a few minutes to finish. Okay, it's 304,000. So once that's done, and that was right here, recalculate manufacturer prices, and then what I would do here is I would just do this one here. This recalculates all of them. Recalculate in stock, so I would just do that one here. Calculate by vendor. You would type in your vendor, and it's going to show the formula. It reads the vendor record. Yeah, I want to use formula 3. Yeah. And I don't want to select another one. And now it's asking me again, do you want to compare your suggested list price, or do you want to compare to your selling price? In other words, so you'd want to look at the manufacturer's suggested list price. That's usually what you want to do. And we're just going to click here. It updated 83 records, and we're good. So now my manufacturer file has been updated. Every pot that we look on for mercury is going to have that calculation. And like I said before, if in fact you don't like it, you can just go right back, change it to Formula 1. It'll reset everything back to your manufacturer pricing. Okay, if you have any questions, just give us a call. Have a great day.